Hi everyone, this is Teresa from Aseret Studio. Today I just want to go and show you a very quick flip through of one of my large soft cover chunky journals. It does have 3 signatures and 88 pages, and it will be in my Etsy shop later today, probably around 5. You can see the signatures, and it does have a sweet little pocket underneath this vintage quilt flap here. Used to be a children's apron, and I've used it for several projects. And this one flips up as well. This is the front section where you can see I've tied 2 large bows. And it does measure 12 by 7. All right, let's go ahead and I'll undo the bows. The strings on the bows, on the part that encloses it, they are about 14 inches long. They're a little bit extra long, and you can obviously cut those to your liking. I want to make sure that I've got you in. There we go. All right, so the inside is a tea-dyed muslin, and the outside extends to the inside. And you'll see I've left the signature strings long, so I will leave those long, and you can trim those down to the size you want in case you want to put some dangles or anything on. All right, here we go. We've got a stamped quote, some stamped pages, vintage rickrack, vintage ledger paper, Ideals magazine, some nice scrapbook paper, pretty heavy, cross-stitch, old cross-stitch booklet that I've sewn onto ledger paper, quilt pieces, wrapping paper, tea-dyed paper, and in this one you receive this little Wright's seam binding. It's an actual cover that I've sewn on to make it a little bit sturdier. You've got this recipe card, and that recipe card. Tuck those back in there. I love that, so sweet. These are pieces from a stack of Dresden quilt plate extras that a woman that didn't get around to making the quilt, she had a whole bunch of those stacked up, and I got those at a thrift shop. More ledger paper. And you've got a little tuck here with a bingo card that I've put ledger paper on the back, and it says hen, pony, pig, and goat. So a cute little ledger card with ledger paper on the back you can journal on. You've got a fabric pocket that I've stitched on with 3 little cards with sewing implements on them, and then also a tag that you can write on the back, and it has pieces of old vintage quilts and a little dangle. Pattern that's made into a pocket. You've got this little booklet with a variety of sizes of graph paper. You can also put some taller items in there, obviously. Second signature. Get a little flip out with sweet little pocket, double pocket, some pink gingham, a little journaling card, just some papers stapled together, some vintage writing paper, and then a time card that I have used this image from my husband's workbooks from the 1960s that you can write on. Tuck that in. Trying to go fast here. Some gingham and a stamped page here with a beehive stamping stencil, sorry. Gessoed, so you can do anything you want on that. Another farm image from my husband's old workbooks. Another image that I've used Mod Podge on to give it some more durability. And it's a mom looking at her little girl that snuck a cookie. It's really cute. Old book. Got a pig and little chicks. Some tea-dyed paper. You've got a belly band out of some old fabric trim. And you've got two envelopes that I've stitched together with some Seed magazine images. So there's 2 of those. And then you have this little fold out made out of the old tissue paper from Patterns. It's got a nice little saying there, so I'll slide that in. Another item from 1960s workbook. You've got Baba Black Sheep on one side and Oh Dear What Can the Matter Be, and you can maybe do some mixed media with that since it matches kind of the farm country style theme. Got large ledger paper with fabric and then some more images that you can use. You can fussy cut or use those for something else. You've got 2 pockets, and I'm going to go ahead and put some items in this pocket. You've got this, some vintage yo-yos, a strip of vintage buttons that you can take off. There are 5 of them, or you can attach this somewhere in the journal. A yo-yo that I made with vintage fabric and a vintage button. Oops, let me lay that flat. Sorry. I'll have to slide that in carefully. All right. And then in this one, I'll put an extra little triangular patch you can use as a tuck spot if you stitch it on or glue it on, or you could put it on a blank page and use it as a pocket. So I'll slide that in there. And then we have another part of that pocket, and you've got a little envelope made out of a journal, out of a page of a quilt magazine, another one of those little journal cards, and then this one you can cut apart and use as you wish. Got 2 little Wilson's evaporated milk labels. You can probably do some mixed media or some cute journal cards with that. A lot of stitching in this book, a lot of places to write and journal. In this pocket that I sewed some fabric together, made like a patchwork pocket, you've got this old Good Housekeeper's matchstick, which the inside's kind of fun to read, and I know you can make little booklets out of these, so I'll slide that in there, and 3 little fabric cluster circles that you can glue on in a cluster or put on various pages in your journal. It's one of those tuck spots, and I think I'll go ahead and put this card piece of stationery right there. That'll work. Sorry. More stamping. Lots of pages to write on. And the back side of the second signature, you've got a nice little pocket with some vintage ticking. I've stamped on some roosters. You actually get a quilt rooster that you can do something with. A library card that I've stamped, the rooster that says the early bird gets the worm, and a tag that has loose leaf paper on the back side and fabric like chicken wire. So we'll tuck those in carefully. All right, third signature, you've got a nice little piece of vintage strawberry fabric, and I believe there's 6 to 8 pages of lined notebook paper. Calendar page that I've stenciled. Graph paper, 2 sheets. You've got a quilt belly band, and you've got these pieces of the Dresden quilt stack that I got, and I sewed those together, and you can actually make another pocket somewhere if you'd like, or cut it apart. So that's in there as well. Got a little vintage yo-yo, little hen and chicken fabric with a pocket underneath. You've got a farm feed calendar, farm feed store calendar pocket. Large cross stitch that's been folded over, sewn, and a little trim on it. And then 2 journal cards that I've hand stamped and put pieces of an old quilt on. The back sides are just images from an old quilt book. Turn that around. And a piece of larger paper in the center there. And then you've got the back side of that pocket. You've got a little 2 envelopes that I put together, stitched together. You've got a pocket here, 2 tags, and a pocket here. You've got a pocket here, some vintage rickrack. You've got another pocket here, and this is just simply something that you can cut diagonally to create two little triangular pockets, or put some glue on it and put it somewhere to create another pocket. So I'm going to slide that back in there. As you can see, I mix and match different types of paper, but you do have lots of space to write. Bingo card that you can do something with. And you've got another large pocket here, and a pocket here, little pocket here, more graph paper, calendar with a stamped sentiment, and your last pocket here, and last page. So once again, this will be in my Etsy shop at 5 today, and it does come with something else that's special, so let me set this aside. So if you like to make clusters, oh, excuse me, not clusters, dangles for the sides, the spines of your journals, I have some that are farm country style themed, and all you need to do is drill a little hole in each one of these. 3 bingo chips, wood bingo chips that already have a little hole in them. You've also got grapefruit and chocolate milk. These are actual caps to glass bottles from years ago, and this is an actual milk cap that's not been used, and 2 more dominoes, and I have drilled tiny holes in these before, so I know it can be done, and then a little farm truck that you can drill a tiny hole in. So all those will be really cute together as a dangle. So this should be on in my Etsy shop around 5 o'clock today, and it does have 3 signatures and 88 or 89 pages. And once again, this is 12 by 7. All right, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.